Well, hello, this is Naomi. Hi, everyone, especially hello to those replay viewers that are probably viewing this. Thank you so much for joining today. I am here and really going to be discussing today how to discover the signs of burnout when you're dealing with burnout, or if you are stressed and you're trying to discover, okay, am I in a burnout situation? That is what this video is about today. Planners on Purpose is basically here to empower you to live your best life as an event planner, and really discussing some of those situations that you probably don't normally discuss. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about burnout, and I have my little cover here that I prepared. So so there you go. How to discover the signs of burnout. So I'm excited. I want to just make sure that I can hear myself. If you're out there and you're listening, please let me know if you can hear me. So there you go. Sorry. How to discover the signs. Looks like I can hear myself. So there we go. So awesome. So great. Thank you all for being here. We are talking about, again, how to discover the signs of burnout. So I'm really excited for this and wanted to give you 4 signs that you can discover to let you know if you're going through burnout. And burnout is really important to me because I've been in the burnout situation several times in my career, and it doesn't really feel good. And sometimes when you're going through it, you don't have too many people to talk to because you disengage yourself from a lot of people when you are going through situations of burnout. And I wanted to just really discuss what those signs were so that you're able to know those signs as you are moving about your career. So the first thing I wanted to do is really offer you up the definition of burnout. So that's the first thing that I wanted to do. So I wanted to bring that up here for you. So burnout is really a syndrome that results from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. So it's definitely very serious. It has been classified in the International Classification of Diseases. So it is something that we for sure want to look out for when we are going about our work. And some people don't realize that burnout is a very serious situation and something that we do need to manage. I know a lot of event planners, we truly love what we do. We want to do a ton of it. We want to be traveling. We want to make sure our clients are taken care of, that we're executing our events. However, if we're not careful of knowing what those signs of burnout are, then it could lead us into health issues, and there are other issues that occur when you get into that particular situation. So it's just helpful for you to know what those signs are. So we'll get into some of those signs. I have 4 signs. But before that, if you are suffering from burnout yourself, or if you know someone perhaps that is suffering a little bit from burnout, I encourage you to either to share this video with them. It would be really important for them to know that sometimes when we are working so hard and doing our thing, it's hard for us to really know if we're going through something that could be detrimental to our health. So sometimes it takes an outside person looking in to see, oh, she's headed, in a not so good situation. So I encourage you to share this video, especially if you're not suffering from burnout and you're completely happy right now. Awesome. But perhaps there's someone in your world that is not, and this will be a very good value for them. So I appreciate you doing that. So we'll get on to the 4 signs of burnout. And so my first sign here, which I'll flash here on the screen for you, is energy depletion and exhaustion. So that's your first sign of burnout. So when I say energy depletion and exhaustion, it really means what it says, is that you are just depleted of your energy. You feel like you cannot go on anymore. You're absolutely and utterly exhausted. You don't feel like you can go to work or do your job well. That is what I mean by energy depletion and exhaustion. So if you have had energy depletion and exhaustion, I would encourage you to, put it down in the chat. Let others know that that this is something that you have suffered from. So that would be your first sign. So, and I know I have gone through some energy depletion and exhaustion, especially when you're working on a very detailed program, a very high, a high maintenance program, a very high energy program. Sometimes that can take away your energy, and you have to save up those energy stores. But sometimes you can't, and sometimes you end up getting into a position where you don't know where to go. So that is definitely one telltale sign of if you are going through burnout, which is energy depletion and exhaustion. So my second sign for you is chronic stress. So chronic stress is when you are going through stress that is continuing over time, but it's a stress that ends up becoming toxic, and you're operating in that toxic stress for a prolonged period of time. So in many people, they are operating in a prolonged stress, and they're not even aware that they are. So it's very important to understand that you are operating in this environment and find ways to make that environment better for you. So, and many people often say, well, many times I love what I do, and I want to do what I want to operate in my zone of genius, and I love the energy that comes from producing these events. And I would say that's great if you're a person that really has a healthy way of managing their stress, and you're moving forward, and it's just amazing for you, and it's a good feeling behind it, then you are probably having a really good situation where you have a good pressured situation, a stress that can be maintained. And that, I wouldn't say, is burnout. Burnout is when you are getting into a very toxic, chronic stress that you start to feel negative emotions. And that's where when you have that, that's when you want to make sure that you are doing the things you need to do in order to solve it. So you might be saying right now, Naomi, okay, I've gone through stress. I've gone through this. This is very common in my world. So how do I get rid of this? How do I operate a little bit better with my stress? Well, I want to invite you into this Managing Your Burnout mini course. It's a mini course that I created that really goes through how you can get rid of that stress for you. It goes through the common misconceptions of burnout, definitions of burnout. It also walks through how you would be able to manage your burnout through your health, through technology, and through managing your schedule. So there's all sorts of great information in there. And I would encourage you to go ahead and sign up for that mini course. The link is right there. And I can also put that in the chat for you. So that's what I would definitely invite you to do if you would like to know how you are going to get out of your burnout situation. Okay, great. So we'll move on to the sign number 3. So your sign number 3 is that there's no hope in turnaround. Okay, so that just means you're to a point where I am completely exhausted. I have negative emotions because now I'm not able to see any type of alternative for myself. And now I just don't see any hope in turnaround. And so that puts us in a dangerous spot, because usually when we find that we're in when we have no hope of turnaround, that we then do things that we probably wouldn't normally do. This is where you end up getting people starting to seek to look for a different position or seek to leave the industry altogether. That is usually when you get that no hope in turnaround. So again, before it gets to that spot, it's important for us to be aware that we're headed there and to make those changes that we need to do to figure out, how can I turn this around for myself? What are my stressors and how can I make them better? And again, that mini course would help start to stir up the ideas for you and give you the opportunity to really reflect on that. Okay. So I hope you're doing well. If you have any questions, definitely put them in the chat. I would love to understand if you're going through burnout, and I would understand if you ever have gone through burnout and what were the consequences of that. Have you ever gone through burnout and you've had to step away from your role or step away from your job or anything like that? Let me know in the chat. I would just like to be able to talk to you about that. And then if you want to continue this conversation, Planners on Purpose does have a community. It's a group. I would love it for you to join that group and just keep the conversation going. If you have any situations that you would like to post to the group, that's what the group is for. It's about having these conversations that really would move us a little bit forward when it comes to being more purposeful and being more intentional about our world. And burnout is one of those things where, to know about it earlier, you do want to be intentional. You want to be aware of how you're working throughout your day, how you're working throughout your programs. And then that way you're able to say, okay, I think I'm going into a situation where my stress level is to the point where I either can't handle it anymore, I feel like it's toxic, and I'm being depleted of all my energy. So that is what I would want for you. Join that community to continue the discussion. All right. So last step for you today, all right, is disengagement. So have you ever been disengaged? And when I mean disengaged, it can be physically disengaged, where you no longer want to go into your job, or you no longer want to work with that client, or you need to be mentally distanced from your job. You're just disconnected. You have so many feelings of negativity that is probably even starting to be toxic. The people that you talk to at your job, perhaps there's negative conversations happening, right? And perhaps you're starting to let that negativity ooze into your relationships with your clients and relationships with vendors, suppliers, and anyone that you're working with. Now, that can be a very telltale sign that you're probably burned out and it's time to take a step back and reevaluate some things. So if that has been you, or if that is you right now, I totally feel you. Sometimes work can get to the point where you get disengaged and those negative feelings are stirred up. But it's important for us to recognize it and then really try to make those sharp turns or pivots or transitions to get us into a better spot. Okay, so that was the fourth tip, and I hope that this helped you to understand how you recognize and discover those signs of burnout. And those are just 4. There are several others that you can discover. And again, I would invite you to step into that mini course, which is the Managing Your Burnout mini course. And it's absolutely free, and you can sign up for that. And it will be able to help you with giving you tips and tools on how to manage your schedule, like I mentioned, how to see how technology can work for you, giving you tips to be able to evaluate your world and see where those stressors are. It comes with worksheets and kind of activities for you to be able to really evaluate burnout in your life and really get it on in a different place. So I really encourage you to do that. And I will go ahead and put up the information again. This is the Managing Your Burnout mini course. It is free. I created it just for you to be able to recognize the signs of burnout and also how to get over those signs. So I encourage you to go ahead and download that. It's at plannersonpurpose.com/managing burnout. That is where you can get that. So I am just happy that you again are here. I would really hope and encourage you to download that free mini course so it will be able to help you with discovering how you can manage your burnout. And I invite you into the Planners on Purpose community so that you can come into the community and talk and discover a little bit more about burnout. And we figured this out together. So that's all I had today. Again, get in the comments. Let me know if you've suffered from burnout in your life or in your career, and what has helped you gotten through that. I would love it to hear that information from you. And then I think that's all I had today. I will go ahead and I will be here again on Wednesday. We have our book club, which we're going to be talking about Jon Acuff's book. It's called Finish. This is the book. And it's a wonderful book which talks about how you can finish your goals, how you can meet your goals and finish them well. We all kind of went through, I guess, putting our life plans together, putting all these plans together to make us understand what we're going to do about our lives and how we're going to gosh, I don't know why I'm like, kind of slip in my brain, but but how you're putting together business plans, right? It's like business plans and your goals and your objectives for the year. We've all been through that. And then now it's time to execute. And so sometimes we get into execution and so many things get into our way, and we need to know, like, how do I finish it? So at the end of the year, you are doing what you're checking everything off that you wanted to do. So that's what this book helps with. Finish by Jon Acuff. We'll be talking about it on Wednesday at our book club. So that is all I have for you today. Until next time, I just really, I will wish you well, and thank you so much for joining. Bye now.